What's up, everybody? So first of all, real sorry about the delay in video here. I've been feeling like shit the past 3-4 days. I'll get into why. It involves booze. It involves mild heartache. I'll tell you everything. To keep it easy right now, I'm going to dive right into the commentary, get a little bit warmed up, and then move into my weekend, the story of my weekend, which was an orgy, by the way. Remember I told you last time about that dry spell I was suffering? It's a dry spell no more. And we'll get there. I just need to warm up, get talking, get my storytelling chops going. Warm up metaphorically as well as physically too. I'm in Sacramento right now at my parents' house in a barn. I don't know if you remember, in the video I made commenting on my high school videos, or I found my high school videos. This is the barn that kid Philip got shot with a bunch of shit in. The BB gun, the plastic paintball round. I shot that from right over here. He was on his knees right here where a weight machine used to be. Now I'm using it to shoot Patreon videos. So I'm going to click play on the smoking at UCLA video. That is the video we're talking about today.
Please put out your cigarette.
He speaks Mandarin only, sir. Put
Put
it in your mouth right now. You're on camera. A little taste of what's to come. Sorry. UCLA, a campus that in 2013 unilaterally banned cigarettes. I don't like being told what to do. So today, I came by to smoke like a Korean war vet on You got an opinion on the smoking ban, dude? Here we go.
I am
interviewing.
What?
I think it's bad
For
My main thing is the hypocrisy.
Well,
it's hard to take all this
right into jokes.
Seriously from a school with a football team. You've seen the damage football does. You know about that, the concussions.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
This gives me smelly fingers and a cough. UCLA gives 11 black kids Parkinson's every Saturday.
Their quarterback's white. I'm not familiar with football.
So you'll notice there, first of all, I think that's one of the best jokes I've ever written. I think it's really funny. The 11 black kids, Parkinson's, the smelly fingers and a cough. I like that. It's a very Nick DiPaolo-esque joke. He's the comedian. I kind of inspired that. One thing you can't see in the original video, but you can kind of hear, is somebody, I'm going to back up a frame. Let's let this play again, just that punchline.
Their quarterback's white.
Their quarterback's white. That kid's cool. In the background you hear, "Can you get out of here, man?" These dudes lost their shit over that joke. They were these frat guys. And that totally contributed to my thesis of the political correct pussification of the UCLA campus. And I would have left that in there to demonstrate that point, but it was kind of weird. People were talking over each other. I was talking. My cameraman was talking. He actually cut the camera. He had kind of a bad habit of cutting too early this shoot, so I couldn't get a clean shot or audio bit of that guy freaking out to add into the video. But some little behind-the-scenes knowledge, they didn't react well to that joke.
Have a doctor's appointment?
No. This is going to help your doctor's appointment, too. You're going to get a better evaluation.
That's true.
Cost you a disease?
No, it's not true.
We're in Los Angeles, man. Some people need to die. We got the air quality of a coal mine, the population density of a termite mound.
That's true. That's pretty true, actually.
Let people smoke themselves to death. Less cars on the road. You ever commuted home on the 405?
Nope.
Columbus made better time sailing back to Lisbon. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah.
That's another example right there of some jokes I had pre-written. And it was kind of a cool hybrid of me straight telling the jokes and then also the people giving me some material to work off to segue into those jokes. The Asian guy went, "But these cigarettes say they cause disease," and that let me into my LA, we're overpopulated, population density of a termite mound, air quality of a coal mine. Columbus made better time sailing back to Lisbon joke, which I really like. That whole joke was just an excuse to use the word Lisbon, which I think is real funny. And I was so psyched when I looked at, because Christopher Columbus wasn't from Portugal, but I was so psyched to see he stopped in at Lisbon on the way back to the old world, and I got the green light on that joke. Logically, it made sense. Christopher Columbus made better time sailing back to Lisbon.
People start smoking, 25% less traffic.
Really?
Yeah. They've run the numbers. Yeah, sure. He crunched that. That's what that means right here.
These are two elite. So that was all improv, and this also brings me to an important point in the background of the story. So we have Ken, and you're probably all familiar with Ken by now. Made his first appearance in the Girls Chewing Tobacco video, resurfaced at the Thanksgiving video, and he's back again here, and he did awesome in this video. He brought a buddy along. Well, my filmer is Nico. He's just a guy who hit me up on Instagram. I let him come film with us, and he was super cool. Nico and I pulled up in front of Ken's place, And Ken comes walking out with his Black Lives Matter shirt, which I was a little nervous about. That's a little provocative. It was a little insolent and disrespectful. But he's Asian, so I figure he can get away with it. I wouldn't want to have been rocking that, going around, fucking around like we were doing. But he had a buddy trailing him, this other Asian guy. And at first I was a little upset. It's kind of like a very controlled thing, my shoots. I put a lot of thought into them. I write the jokes. I have an idea in my head of how it's going to go. And he comes trailing out with some asshole buddy like we're going to play pool at a sports bar. So at first I was kind of saying, no, he can't be in the video. He's got to go get a coffee and smoke a cigarette and read a newspaper while we do this. But Ken worked on me, and the guy's English was so poor, he just wasn't really taking no for an answer. Not being a dick, he just didn't really know what I was saying and was very hard-headed. So he joined the crew, and it ended up being awesome. Both of them were just tuned into what I was trying to do, which is just be an asshole and get people to smoke. They kind of knew the Danny Mullen brand. And you're going to see this kid a lot really playing along well, this random Asian kid named Peter.
I mean, cigarettes can be good for you.
Doctors in Hong Kong.
That's
are saying
true,
that,
they
right?
can be.
Yeah, always.
It's getting back to where we were
There's
in the
Peter.
50s before our scientists got all bought out by fucking the liberal lobby.
Liberal school, bro.
Nobody will even talk to us about it. Some girl
This
in there
guy was
smoking
awesome
cigarettes,
too. This
she
is
was
one
so
of the
scared.
campus
It was like
allies we
coming out
met
of
as
the
well.
smokers, like
This
coming out
Indian
as
guy was
Nazis.
rad.
In Thailand, I thought everybody smoked cigarettes.
We also ban smoking in public.
Just prostitution and cockfighting are legal over in Thailand. No cigarette smoke.
No, I believe
Pretty good
smoking is
improvised
American
joke. I like
right.
I
that.
believe so too.
It's American way of life, actually.
Fucking amen, brother.
You light up right now?
Yeah, this seems like a good occasion. As a gesture of finding a middle ground, I want you to light the cigarette. It'll be ceremonial. It's gonna be like North and South Korea meeting in the.
This is a good bit too. The trying to get him to light my cigarette. This is just one of those improvised things that comes up in the shoot. Ken played along with it really well. Ken was strong-arming him, trying to get him to do it. This guy had no problem, lights it up. This kid was real uncomfortable, wanted nothing to do with lighting the cigarette. Look at Ken. Ken's on it. Ken understands the Danny Mullen strong arm.
Stanford University just released research. They studied about 50,000 women. They found
This is true. This isn't bullshit. There's a huge secondhand smoke study that came back negative that women living with husbands smoking 3 packs a day over 30 years with their windows closed in the house did not statistically raise those women's rate of cancer. This guy failed to understand that.
Send information back and forth.
I'm off social media. But,
That's smart. That's discipline. How you getting laid?
Is it because you think it causes cancer?
How you getting laid? Is it because you think it causes cancer? That's where he realized finally that we weren't the serious researchers he once thought we were.
Isn't gonna burn, is it? I don't actually smoke. I'm just doing this to piss people off.
Me revealing that I don't smoke cigarettes, which is the truth. I actually don't. Nothing against you if you do. I just personally don't.
Some people gamble, some people drink.
This is a great scene here, too. In the Uber, me just going completely into character as this heavy smoker, telling this guy about my 2-pack-a-day regimen.
World War I veteran?
I think this kind of comedy right here, where I just go into these digressions about my grandpa and smoking that are completely false, is very Hunter S. Thompson inspired. He wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is the book he wrote. It also was turned into a movie. More people have seen the movie than read the book. That was the book that originally inspired me to be a writer, and I still think I am hugely influenced by him comedically without realizing it sometimes. This is a good example. Just lying to some innocent bystander about my past, my smoking habits, and my grandfather. It's kind of like in the scene in the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, where they have the hitchhiker, the bald kid played by Tobey Maguire, and Hunter S. Thompson and Benicio del Toro are making up all these crazy lies about Savage Henry and croaking a skag baron and all this shit, and it's never referenced again in the entire movie, and it's just completely lies. And that was kind of what I was trying to do there in that Uber without even realizing it. I realize that now.
Over at the Chancellor's property over there.
G&D block?
Yeah,
Okay. Uh-huh.
he lives on the other side, and from what I heard is...
This is a great bit, too. This guy giving us what he thought was the reason the cigarette ban went into place for. I don't know if this was true or not. I don't know if this was true or not. Probably not. But it was still an interesting bit of footage to the story. Yeah, this guy came up and smoked with us.
What I don't like is they shunted us up to the...
This is also a great bit.
Is this a designated...
This was pre-written. I was going to make some kid really, really uncomfortable by saying we were sending the video to the administration, making him admit to having bombs, making him admit to wanting to partake in arson and kidnapping. And this kid was so perfect too, just the stereotypical good Asian boy having a smoke up at the designated smoking area on campus. This bit went perfectly. I'm so fucking psyched. This is exactly what I had in my head. And we had to wait about 45 minutes at this little shitty-ass parking lot for anybody to come out because classes were in session and there was nobody around. So right as we were about to leave, this kid showed up.
Tell them about the calcium
We got a
chloride
bit.
bomb-making supplies you're stockpiling in your dorm room. Which dorm are you in? Hedrick?
No.
Delta Terrace?
Yeah.
I want you to look right into the camera and say you will put out a cigarette on Chancellor Block's Basset Hound's balls if the smoking ban isn't lifted by January 1.
Kid's got kind of a cool haircut. I'd rock that fucking haircut, man. I back this kid. Sick ring, too, smoking a cig. Kid's got style. Although also Peter back there, fucking to do it for Korea, bro. Just more proof that he has the spirit.
Do it for Korea.
We're talking. You guys probably weren't here yet, huh?
That's when they started putting up all those signs.
Yeah. That's when they started snatching away our rights like this was Soviet Russia. I think we're gonna go march on Powell Library. We're gonna stage a coup. You boys agree with me on that? Clearly. I mean, you're over here lighting up yourself. You're smoking a Juul, which is a little fruity, but you know, you'll migrate to real cigarettes eventually. You guys want to talk to us about the smoking ban today? You want to talk to us? It's gonna start initiating. I want to hear your native tongues fly. You stand for our right to smoke cigarettes, right? Even on campus? What about
Some more random pussified dudes on campus, white shirts, black ties, pledging some fraternity or another. Here we go, into Powell Library. The big centerpiece. I debated putting this at the end as the big finale, but just the story kind of flowed better as a chronological thing. This was how the day actually unfolded. We went to Powell Library, and then we went to the gym, and then the coffee shop. Here we are. And then this, I definitely didn't foresee, because Ken was absolutely down to go in and smoke in the library. Peter said he was completely down too. But then, of course, we get there, and they both freeze up, which I understand. It was dead silent. It was fucking packed. We're 3 weeks out from finals here. And they're good Asian boys. They're used to using libraries for studying, not for smoking cigarettes. But at that point, I mean, this is my life by now. When I walk in there with a camera guy, and he's seated at a table across the room, I'm mic'd up, I'm going to light up the cigarette. I'll do anything short of killing somebody to get the footage. So it was no problem for me. I think Ken eventually took a couple puffs, but this is good too. This is juicy content, us having the battle back and forth moments. I was worried that I came off like a little bit too much of a dick trying to get Ken to smoke, but I was so desperate for the three of us to smoke together because we talked so much about going into Powell Library and doing this.
They don't deport people for smoking cigarettes. Here we go. This one's for you.
See, these guys, most people probably think that I'm talking about them getting deported from China, but they are actually from Canada. And I guess Canada, like a lot of its other laws, there's a really strict policy on smoking. So you get fined, I don't know what the fuck you get for smoking in buildings. Definitely fines, but apparently it's serious enough in Canada where they thought they were going to actually be in risk of getting deported. This guy was fucking hilarious too. Well, he was a fucking asshole, but this exchange is fucking hilarious.
Where are you from originally? He speaks Mandarin. What do you speak? No, I don't think I'm just trying to sort this out.
I actually just don't give a shit. I just want to know why you're smoking.
Well, they were going to communicate it to you in Mandarin. They have the answers, not me.
They have the answers, not me. I'm glad. When I have these interactions on video, I just black them out. My adrenaline's too high. So I'm always happy when I go back and it turns out funny and I owned the guy verbally. And it's crazy. This girl here, she just tamed me. She was like a dude with a pith helmet and a fucking chair and a whip going into the lion cage. Something about her just soothed me and I had no retaliation and I was just out of there. Maybe because she was polite and she didn't come up all fucking fire and brimstone yelling at us, so I left the library. I don't know.
Take a big rip.
Here we go. Ken finally takes a rip of the cigarette inside the library, and we're on our way out. I like this guy right here looking at me as I walk past. Not quite sure if his eyes are deceiving him or not. Here we go, walking past the security guard. I say hi to him. He probably thought his eyes were deceiving him too. He's wondering if his job was on the line.
I ain't gonna have my face in it, bro. Like,
Here's Peter,
I'm not even.
toying with the idea of having me censor his face, which I wouldn't have done because he volunteered to come along on the shoot, even though I warned him it was going to be heavy.
If we go to another building, I'll do it.
And this is another great bit with Ken. Ken just going balls out, fully committing.
That's fine, 'cause we're gonna keep going.
Ken is like a lawyer, too. He's working at a tech company. He's a successful dude. He's just so into the videos now. He's got a taste for it.
Okay, it was just a moment of panic.
He took a walk on the wild side. Now he can't turn back.
I saw you were
This kid was dope. He's not a fan of mine or anything. He was just a random kid who thought it was funny. One of the few cool guys at UCLA, I guess.
What's your name, man?
I got a joke for a script I'm writing right now. Well, not really a joke, just a description of UCLA. It's less a university and more a giant weasel farm. It just turns out pussies and shitheads. And this kid, well, this kid definitely is clean air act boy, but that kid Dylan wasn't.
I have no comments.
You're not gonna hit me, right?
Yeah, this kid, this is kind of unclear in the video. He wanted us to blur his face. But when we were shooting that intro at the very beginning of the video where I said I'm going to smoke like a Korean war vet, he scoffed really loudly, and I offered him a cigarette. Not even trying to be a dick, but he was just like, kind of trying to be a dick to him. Yeah, because he was just openly laughing at me. And then he came over and was trying to fight us. He was about 5'4", probably weighed 125 pounds, so we were obviously not intimidated. And he was kind of strange. I wasn't sure if he was gay or what his issue was, so I didn't really want to pick on him. He seemed really on edge, though. But he was clearly in the wrong in being the violent one. And of course, my camera turned off his shit too early again. He kind of had, as I said earlier, a problem with that this shoot. But we got some of the audio here.
Are you gonna fight us?
You don't know what I've been through right now.
How neutered is this?
Another
man?
guy talking
Jesus
shit as he
Christ.
walks past.
Grow your balls back, bro.
I captioned it "Ripping Heaters in Powell Library."
Ripping heaters in Powell Library. You trying to score a heater, man?
So another little joke bit I had. Call cigarettes by a bunch of their stupid names everybody calls them by.
Rolled in paper. Can I interest you in a caterpillar fuck doll? Dude, smoke an ermine cock.
What?
An ermine cock.
Urban cock? No,
Ermine. It's like a little.
This kid
That's the new name.
emailed me after the video came out, all upset I put him in the video. But, I mean, people need to take some responsibility. You smoke a cigarette on camera. You agree to be on camera. Should assume it's going to end up somewhere. Yeah, this was another of my Magic Danny Mullen convincing moments.
Smoking the ermine.
Somebody who's hell-bent on not doing thing A spends 5 minutes with me and then ends up doing thing A immediately after. Here we go. In the John Wooden Center, the UCLA gym. I love that. The squad just rolling in.
You can't smoke from here. You guys need to go outside.
Not inside?
No.
They're not from here. They just don't.
No, the cigarettes you guys need to take outside.
So Nico went in early, our cameraman. He's sitting down in some chair across the room. I don't think they ever sniffed him out.
In the weight room though?
The people getting less and less patient behind the counter. You finally see this girl's facial expression, just pure hatred.
Cigarettes. Yeah.
Just another one of the UCLA weasels.
You know what I'm saying in Mandarin? I'm like, oh.
Ken explaining what he's saying in Mandarin. He was just offering them cigarettes in Chinese. And I said it right there, that it was a perfect cover, them speaking Mandarin, and it's so true. Because if I'd been walking around UCLA in the gym, in the library, in the cafeteria with a cigarette in my mouth, everybody knows I'm some shithead YouTuber pulling a prank. It's been done so many times at UCLA. Los Angeles in general is just saturated as far as YouTubers and pranks, and especially UCLA. I think it's a much less policed campus than USC, and it's probably the most filmed at university, maybe in the world, because it's in LA, which is the center of social media. But it just added such a beautiful curveball to have these two Asian guys with me who were not just Asian guys. They both spoke fucking fluent Mandarin. They're both wearing suits. It just added this I was just rubbing my cock there, I apologize. It just added this perfect element of legitimacy. That I wasn't some shithead YouTuber. Maybe I was some Scandinavian exchange student. And these are my two buddies I met in Singapore. And we were just hanging out and we didn't know the rules and we wanted to smoke some stogies. That was an option because I had Ken and Peter with me. Ken showing more of his passion now.
Okay, yeah, I'm done.
Just all about it. And here we go, into Kirchhoff Coffee House. A favorite study location of mine as an undergraduate. Cigarettes in all three of our mouths, a little bit shaky filming. What are you gonna do? And here we go, we walk by some faculty member. feels he has to say something.
There's no smoking in here. There's no smoking in here. Please extinguish it. No, over here, sir. There's no smoking. There's no smoking on the campus. No, there's no smoking. Please.
Another thing too, I have a part-time job at UCLA I'm about to start. Maybe. They drug tested me. We'll see if I pass or fail. And that's why I'm wearing a hat pulled down and sunglasses, because I'm going to be potentially working at UCLA in the catering department like once or twice a week. So I didn't want to appear on security cameras and wanted posters all over the school right before my first day at
He
work.
speaks Mandarin only, sir.
This was good too. I don't know if he saw the camera, didn't see the camera,
Don't speak their language either.
but more of our Ken and Peter speaking Mandarin to the people with just wide, uncomprehending eyes. This guy finally just gives up, gets fed up, walks away.
Yeah. Pretty funny though.
Ken loving it.
Take a Unity drag. Or,
Our filmer Nico.
With us in the library.
And that's about a wrap. It was cool. On the way out, a guy recognized me, which I always get so psyched when people recognize me still. He was like the fourth guy too. And he was real pumped to see me on campus. He shook my hand. And that's just another reason why it's going to be sketchy for me to work at UCLA is if I'm walking around doing shit for the catering department and students are pointing me out, some of whom may be fans, but some of whom may hate me as well. And they might go point me out to a supervisor, and I might find myself on the unemployment line very soon.
I'm gonna start wearing USC gear.
Hey guys, thank you so much.
There we go. End of the video. Okay. Now let's get into Danny's weekend in San Francisco. So I was up in San Francisco filming Drunk Jesus, Evil Jesus, Sodomite Jesus. Those are some of the working titles. Basically just a synonym for bad and then Jesus, because I dressed up as Jesus and went to the annual SantaCon bar crawl, which is basically just a massive, everybody in Santa suits, everybody goes out and gets fucked up kind of event. I went to it last year, did the Evil Santa video. I thought it was really, really good, so I had to go back this year. And to be honest, it's probably not going to be my favorite video I've done. I didn't have a lot of time to write a script. I had to get out the Smoking at UCLA video, which took a really long fucking time. I had to prepare to road trip up to Northern California and film a video while I was doing that, the piss cycle. And then I had to write the script for the Jesus video, and I also had to acquire all the bits of my costume, which literally meant going up and down the street I live on, knocking on random businesses that I hoped were wood shops, because I live in kind of an industrial area, and then inquiring about them screwing together two pieces of wood for me to make a cross. And I actually found a wood shop that did it at about 10 p.m. at night on an abandoned street. It was a business that wasn't even open. And there was a guy in there who did it for me. So I had all that shit going on, so it wasn't as prepared as I would have liked it to, but I've been in kind of a grind here at the end of the year. I'll get more into that. But let's get into some juicy shit. I went to San Francisco not just for this bar crawl, but also to meet up with a girl. This is a girl I'd hooked up with multiple times when I lived in Northern California. Her and I worked together for a little bit. I always thought she was really cute. We went out drinking one night. I got her pretty liquored up. Well, she got herself pretty liquored up. It wasn't as if I took advantage or I was slipping Mickeys in her drinks. But her and I went back to my place. I licked not only her vagina, but also her asshole. And then I eventually penetrated her ass for anal sex, full-blown anal sex. And for some reason, I've just been obsessed with her ever since. Something about that, which is such a turn on. So I don't think I've had sex with her since then, but I've been texting her for a period of like 2 years, trying to keep things going, always angling. I'm like a hawk up looking for the trout in the lake. And then this weekend, she was down to meet up. And I think it's kind of had something to do with like the YouTube thing going on. That's given me some kind of status in her eyes, which is sort of ridiculous that she would not like me before that and now like me because I go around making out with old ladies and fat broads. That somehow makes me more desirable. But I'll take what I can get. So I get to San Francisco, her and I meet up. It's real cutesy, real romantic. It's almost like we're a couple. Things are going well. We get to the bar. I start seeing my first signs of trouble. I'm there with a bunch of my really good friends. My friend Adam, who's going to be very important in the story. We're going to talk more about him. My best friend Tim, a couple other people. I'm hanging out at the bar. Eventually I notice this bitch isn't around. I don't know where she is. I can't find her. Word finally reaches my ear. She's posted up the bar talking to another guy. no big deal. You know, it fucking happens. It's a little disrespectful for what's kind of a date to just, you know, blow the date off and for about 20 to 30 minutes just be getting hit on and reciprocating at the bar with a cocktail in your hand. But again, I can live with it. So she comes back eventually. It's whatever. Nothing's changed. We're kissing. We're flirting. It's still good times. We get back to my hotel room. I'm sharing my hotel room. I'm sharing my hotel room with my buddy Adam. Here's the relevant fact you need to know. Well, there are a couple relevant facts. Here's relevant fact number 1. Adam and I have had sex with probably about 8 to 10 of the same girls. We tag team so many women together, it's like witchcraft. I don't know what it is. There's those Venn diagrams you know about in school with the interlinking rings and the circle, the middle area where both things connect. It's like the women who are attracted to us, it's a Venn diagram with a huge middle area. If a girl's attracted to me, she's also attracted to him, which is strange because I am Christian, he is Jewish. I am blonde, he is brunette. And then here's relevant fact number 2. I have a very average, unimposing cock, and he has a massive one. Keep that in mind, that's relevant. Her and I decide to go hook up in the bathroom of this hotel. That seems to be the best privacy we can get, given that my passed out Jewish buddy, who I always tag team chicks with, is on the other bed. We go into the shower, she's got a perfect wax job, spotless asshole, spotless vagina. I get my handful of Prel or whatever the cheap hotel soap is, and I rub it on the ass area just to make sure. I know there's a lot of bacteria back there, and then I go all in on this thing like it's a fucking buffet. No discretion. Both holes, I'm all over them with my tongue. And it's fucking awesome. We're blowing each other, we're having sex in the tub and shit. We get back out to the bed. My buddy Adam, I don't know if he's passed out, I don't know if he's awake. He would soon be awake. But at first, her and I are messing around a little bit. I forget why, I think she commented on like my balls or something. One of my balls is it's bigger than the other. I have one like pretty big testicle. Interesting fact about me. She felt that and noticed that. She's like, one of your balls is really big. And I was like, well, everybody's balls are somewhat asymmetrical. But she's like, no, this one's really big. So I was like, maybe feel Adam's balls. I mean, they're probably the same. She fucking summons him up off the bed and agrees to feel his balls. And already I'm starting to kind of regret where this is going. But she feels his balls by the bed, and then I think another of my horrible suggestions came up, and that suggestion was, hey, can I lick your ass while Adam licks your vagina? It's gonna be like a rim job, blow job combo would be the equivalent in a man, but for her, I don't know if there's really a name for it. She got eaten out, both of her holes got eaten out by 2 different fellows. So I'm down on the ass end. I was very transfixed with that asshole. I can't explain it. And then Adam's eating her vagina. At some point, I think, again, I encouraged it, which now I really regret. Adam gets down, prepares to enter her missionary, and does so. I mentioned Adam has a huge cock. The moaning that occurred when he slid into her, I can't get it out of my head. It was so emasculating that she could take my cock no problem. I don't even recall if there was any moaning whatsoever. But then, when Adam put his dick in her, it was like somebody was shoving a cantaloupe into her rectum. Like, that was the sound. It's initially discomfort, but then it morphed into total pleasure. And it continued as total pleasure as he proceeded to hump away at her. And I remember right there on the bed, even when I was drunk as shit, I still remember this thought. I was like, I fucked up. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to look at this girl the same after this. The one victory I did achieve is I talked her into licking my ass, which somehow kind of evened the score in my head. But it's still, the damage was done, and the next morning I woke up still kind of bothered by it, and I still had to go out and film that Santa video. I was incredibly hungover, I was pretty much demoralized and emasculated and self-conscious about my cock size for the 80th time in my life. And she went home, and then we went out to film the video. The video went pretty well. The costume I had on really carried the bit. I'm still editing it right now, and I haven't gotten to the later parts. I'm still maybe about 20% in, and so far there's some good jokes. I think it's gonna play as a video. I think it could have been better if I had more time. I think it's still gonna be really funny though. But then afterwards, here's another good story for you. You're gonna see that we got some girl to flash the camera at the very end. She then took my cock in hand on the streets of San Francisco And then finally, she agreed to take us both up to her hotel room, my cameraman and I, and give us fellatio in exchange for a pack of cigarettes that we had in our bag. We went up to this girl's room, she sucked us both off, and we came all over her chest. I think I'm going to attach that picture in Patreon too. I might get in trouble for that, but I'm going to read the rules and see if I can get away with it. If I can, I definitely will. I have the whole audio and everything. But we basically she insisted we finish upon her chest. And as we were leaving the room, she told us that she had a Pornhub channel, and that really terrified my cameraman because he has a Square sales job and he has ambitions to climb the ladder in San Francisco in the tech world. So he was freaking out. He said, "I do not give you consent to use my image." I said the same. I would rather not be seen jerking off on an Asian girl's chest on Pornhub. But yeah, it was incredible. We got like sucked into a Black Widow Pornhub hidden camera situation. And you guys will know about her from the video. You'll know who I'm talking about based on who's gonna flash the camera at the very end. But I'm gonna try to get the picture of her covered in cum for you guys too. I feel like the real story of the weekend was that tag team scenario, because that's what's really been fucking with my head this whole weekend. Not to mention I'm really hungover. I've been licking asses. I've been swapping spit with a bunch of people in bars. I don't know if I have mono, if I have a stomach virus, but I feel horrible and depressed, and that's why I tried to start this up and film the video yesterday, and I just couldn't do it. I mean, I don't even feel that entertaining right now, but I definitely felt worse yesterday. But I'm just trying to push through and edit the video for you guys for Thursday. New updates. I've got some, let me get this here. I've got some goddamn merch. The Danny Mullen, Lou Reed crew neck sweaters. I think they're really fucking sick. You guys probably have seen my Lou Reed shirt. I wear it in the Kissing Walmart Employees video. I wear it in my channel intro video, Who is Danny Mullins, at the top of the channel. This is a take on that shirt, but it's based on a picture of me. It's my face. I think it's really sick. It's merch without being obnoxious. It's not just the fucking words Danny Mullen and then like my YouTube handle or a picture of me. Well, it is a picture of me, but it's a subtle picture of me. So yeah, it's cool to wear out, to get fucked up in. That's kind of what I wanted. Yeah, I'd give you guys a fucking discount, but I had to pay for this. They charged me for this. There's no fucking discounts for this company that I did it with. But yeah, I guess I'll link those to you if you guys are interested. If you don't, just buy one to support me though, because you guys already support me enough. You guys already help so fucking much. This is just if you want one. If you think they're cool, I'll probably link them up. But yeah, thank you so much for tolerating this, guys. I feel like fucking shit. I hope this was enlightening in any way. And I will see you guys this Thursday, and then again, hopefully this weekend. I'll be quicker on this. Again, forgive me guys for feeling like shit. Love you. Thank you so much for the support.